Hello, hello, money makers. Hello, everyone who is here. It doesn't matter if you are live with me on the call or if you are catching the replay that is going to be uploaded to the Facebook group where we are hosting this beautiful masterclass sales on repeat. The replay is also going to be uploaded to YouTube, so it doesn't matter whether you're watching me live or you're catching the replay. In any case, my request to you is to let me know in the comments if you're watching, to send me some love. Tell me your name, where are you from, and what is the thing that you do. Because this masterclass, I am really so excited to lead this masterclass and to be with you over the next 5 days, because this will not just be about sales, like the word sales, as another tweak or another trick. I will be diving so deep, and this is going to be game changing, literally game changing. So my request to you is to watch every day, even if you can't do live. And some of you already shared, I have so much on my plate, or I have a client call at that time. This doesn't matter. Watch all the replays and watch it, come here in this room with an open heart and an open mind. None of this is about pushing. I know you're busy. You have so much work. You have so much on your plate. So even if you need more time, even if you cannot watch day one right now, when I'm hosting day one, don't worry. This group is going to be open for 2 months and you will have time to catch up everything. Of course, being live is the most powerful, but don't worry if you can't make it. This is not about any pressure. I don't want any one of you to feel like pressured, and I'm not that type of mentor that is going to, put pressure on you in terms of FOMO. No, join right now. Although this is a sales strategy when you're using this, and by the way, you're going to see a lot of sales strategies that I will be using during the time of hosting this masterclass. And of course, feel free to apply whatever resonates with you and with your brand. But the point is that I want you to experience this, not from the place of pressure, but from the place of deep transformation. And let me know in the comments if you're catching the replay or if you are watching live. Any day, anytime, I want to communicate with you. Once again, all replays will be uploaded, so nothing is going to be lost. I will email you the replays. Give me a second, please. I will email you the replays, so make sure that my emails are landing in your main inbox, not in the promotion folder or spam folder, so you don't miss anything. So you get these reminders that we're starting in 1 hour, or the call links. Everything is going to be accessible for you. Every day is going to be very different. This is one thing I want to tell you. So the thing is, and this is how my work works, the deeper we dive, the better it becomes. This is like a relationship and friendship and whatever. The more it deepens, the more beautiful it is. And every day will be like a different piece of the puzzle. Like, my overall work is the type of work that gets better, and the results compound and get better the more you explore, learn, refine, pivot, and adjust. And also for some of you, and I know this will be for many of you actually, it could feel like I didn't learn anything new here. However, you will feel that everything just came to its place, like so many things. Probably, you probably know a lot of sales strategies or messaging or how to position your work. You're probably already making sales, but sometimes it feels like scattered. It feels like you have to put so much effort into everything. And in this masterclass, in these 5 days, are going to give you this feeling. To some of you, of course, it might feel like I didn't learn anything new. Or you might say, I already knew that. But what is going to happen for you is that you will come back to yourself. Or you're going to say, wow, everything here landed so deeply, and this was the missing piece of the puzzle. Or I had all the pieces, but they were not at the right place. Other days will feel like, oh my gosh, this thing here is incredible. How didn't I know this before? And it's going to feel like, yeah, this lands, and I need to write this down. Oh yeah, this is amazing. That's so great. And before I proceed further, I want you to tell me in the comments. I want to ask you, tell me, who are you and what you do? Share with me. I will read each and every comment. Tell me, where are you from? Maybe some of you I already know, but I also saw new people who registered. So tell me if this is your first thing with me, if you have ever bought from me anything, if you have worked with me, if you have if this is your like first interaction with me in a live or masterclass or anything that you are signing up for, let me know in the comments. And the more important thing is, why are you here? What is your goal for this masterclass? What would you like to achieve by joining here? What's the goal? This question is really very important, because if you're doing things that you're simply doing them, and we are falling for this so much, we are doing, constantly doing, but then what's actually the goal? And many of the things I will be sharing over the next 5 days will feel like an experience that is clarifying this. Maybe not only I learned this, but I discovered something. I remembered something. Maybe you will say, I remember why did I start my business, and now I'm able to build my brand in a deeper and better way. We're a small group, but I'm very happy about that, because I recently, a couple of months ago, promised myself that I will not be giving level 10 transformation to people who are at level 2 or 3 and don't want to take it. And I promised myself that I will not be explaining anything to people who are not ready to hear it or who have resistance. The people who are not ready to learn it. The people who are not ready to join the room and listen to the deep things and to take this deep transformation. And when I decided to create this masterclass, I honestly wanted to have only people who are moving big. My initial idea was not to have like hundreds of people in this space. I only wanted people who are ready to do the work, people who are ready to look at the mirror, people who are ready to be transparent and honest with themselves, and who are ready to take whatever resonates, and for the rest to say, yes, I'm receiving this, and it is going to stay with me. And whenever I need it, I will already know it. My work has never been surface level, and now more than ever, I want to raise the bar. And I know you are the right people for this masterclass. And what I want to tell you is that this is a safe space where you belong. I didn't want this, and in general, when I work with my clients, I prefer this boutique style where I can really pay attention to every person, where, you know, I can talk to you, I can get to know you, I can see layers deeper than the surface level situation or problem or what you are saying. And that is why I'm not for the masses. And probably this is going to be a huge realization for you right now. And this is the key to you doubling, tripling, and quadrupling your sales, because your work is not for everyone. And you'd better have 10 people who are ready for the work you do, who are ready for level 10, that are going to walk with you, than having hundreds of people who simply don't get it and they drain you. And I know that everyone who joined Sales on Repeat is the right person for this masterclass. I want to curate this experience and to be able to give you exactly what you need. So use this opportunity as if you're in a paid space, and use the opportunity that there are no hundreds of people, because you will be able to share and to be heard and to be seen. The last day of this masterclass is going to be, most probably, is going to be the activation day, where you will be able to come and ask your questions and to be heard and seen once again. My goal here is to help you, the established coaches and service-based entrepreneurs, or it doesn't matter actually the type of business that you're running, but I want to help you to stabilize your highest revenue identity, to stop collapsing after growth spikes, and to build a buyer journey that compounds revenue instead of resetting it every month or every cycle. So let me know in the comments. Put a replay if you're catching the replay. Send me some information about you. Tell me, is this resonating? Tell me what's your goal. So I will be checking in and reading all your comments, even if you're catching the replays. I want you to interact and to be active in the group, in the comments, so we can actually make this work for you. And another thing that you could do is also to just simply take a photo or make a very short, like 3-5 second video, and share this to your stories. Tag me, spread the vibe, show people that there are these spaces where they belong, and let's grow together. And there will be a draw, and someone is going to earn 500 euros that you can use for any of my upcoming programs when you share this. This space is going to feel for some of you like a space to be yourself. This is how I want you to feel. Besides the things, the strategies, the messaging that you're going to learn over the next 4 or 5 days, I want you to feel this as a safe space for you, first of all, to be able to normalize your current sales and to grow from there, to be able to share what bothers you, where are you currently in your journey. And you know, for many of you, this is going to feel probably like a permission, or you're going to get that feeling of, yeah, I can do the things that I wanted to do, but I have never done so far. Or you're going to get the ideas on how to show up, how to articulate everything that you already have in you. Before we begin and get into the messaging and the sales strategies, I want you to know that this growth and scaling only happens in a healthy way, once again, in a healthy way, when you honor all your current achievements and when you are grateful for everything that you have accomplished so far. I want you to say aloud and with your whole being, so every cell in your body feels this. And this is what I want you to say this aloud, please. I have done so much so far. I'm grateful for every sale, every client, every lesson, and everything that I have achieved in my business. Say this 3 times. I have done so much so far. I honor everything that I have achieved. I'm grateful for each and every sale, for each and every client, for every lesson, every mistake, and everything that I have achieved in my business. And even if you are just starting, you need to be very proud of yourself because so many people do not have the courage to even start. And look at you, you're already taking master classes, you're already investing time, money, effort into this, because entrepreneurship is most of all personal development journey, I believe. And you're doing this. Do you know how many people do not want to get triggered? Do you know how many people do not have the courage to hire a mentor because this person is going to be a mirror and they're going to find that they're doing many things not in the best possible way, that their integrity is not as high as they think. But the thing is that you will not be able to have sales on repeat if you do not honor this. You will not be able to have sales on repeat if you do not honor every sale you have made so far, every client, every lesson. You will not be able to scale and grow if your foundation is fractured. This masterclass is not only about sales on repeat, about, compounding sales, about growth. It is about this safe space that lets you build further. And once again, I want you to say and feel, I love where I am. This is how you enter the compounding stage. Before you build anything, you need to be able to stop the emotional rejection of the current level. And growth is not always an upward movement. Sometimes, and actually very often, and this is something that I recently found out for myself, growth is stabilization of the current level plus compounding from there. I want you to create the stability of power at your highest proven level. Remember the moments when you were at your peak levels in income, in business, in impact, in how things were happening in your life. Let's create the stability of this power, of this highest proven level, and compound from there without self-fracture or business fracture. Because I know that many of you have had really high cash months, for example, or probably right now is not your best season in business, and that is normal, that is okay. But usually this happens, and sales are not happening on repeat when we are not honoring these foundational levels, where we're wobbling from our stability and the power that we have, or when we, it happens that you hit, for example, I don't know, 30K month, let's say, and then you start, oh, can I do it again? Can I do it again? What's going to happen? How am I going to do it again? What are going people to say? Or, for example, your clients are having an incredible transformation, but you start, I'm not making that much money yet. How am I going to lead other people? And I need to prove this. I need to do it myself first. No, this is how you're losing the stability of your power. This is how everything starts wobbling and it fractures. And for many of you, this masterclass would first of all prevent revenue collapse while scaling, because you don't lose money because you're not good enough. Everyone here is brilliant at what they do, but you lose money because you're trying to grow without stabilizing what you have already built. This is so common. I see this even with entrepreneurs who are making millions. We will talk about that more in the next few days. Once again, use the group, share your insights, but don't just focus on more or how do I get there. We will get to that for sure, but I want you to stabilize, to lock your current level so we can scale from a healthy place. Let me take a look at the group, at the chat. Okay. Yes, give me a second, please. Yeah, okay. So let's continue. It was very interesting because when I got the idea for this masterclass, I wanted to say so many things, and I was like, how am I going to structure all of this? I don't want to make it like too much, but I don't want to make it dry. I don't want to make it like as if I'm speaking of some aspirational things, but at the same time, I know that we need to dive deep in many things that we usually can't discuss in a live on social media or in one post. And I was like, I know the right thing is going to show up when the time is right. And as I was watching some videos on YouTube, and I found a video of Tony Robbins and Eckhart Tolle. And if you don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, he's a spiritual teacher and author of like some of like his his best known books are The Power of Now and A New Earth. And his teaching, I'm very much into this. So his teaching emphasizes awareness, the dissolution of ego, that we need to leave our ego aside usually, especially in business. And for sales, this is 100% relevant. And he's all about living fully in the present moment. He's widely regarded as one of the most influential voices in the contemporary spirituality, awareness, and being. And in my opinion, he's not just a spiritual teacher. This is just a vocabulary, but he's more of a personal development, psychology. But in this case, this totally doesn't matter. The vocabulary is not important at all. So the other day I was listening to this video, and the way he started his speech just pushed like the exact button in me, like click. And I want to share this with you because I know this will completely shift how you show up and lead your clients. This happens oftentimes to me and with all my clients. That's why I want to share it with you. And this is directly related to sales on repeat, to building a business that scales. So I'm, of course, going to give you my take on this and how this relates to business. I myself have experienced many times in mentorship, and it is way more valuable and important than anything you learn. This actually has the highest ROI possible, in my opinion, even if it's not measurable in these regular numbers. Or the thing is, it rarely can be explained. And that is very much related to sales, to client relationship, and actually why people would want to stay in your world longer. And as I was listening to this, I instantly thought this needs to be the opening of Sales on Repeat. I've been looking for this exact way to say certain things, to articulate something I could feel, but hadn't fully put that into words yet. I had this very big idea for this masterclass. I wanted to dive deep, but I was having this inner conversation of how would people perceive it? Would they understand it? I want to bring a huge transformation. And these things are in me. I feel I need to share it with the world, even if there are, 3 or 5 people to hear it. And the moment he started speaking, and I started listening to this speech, in the first 5 minutes of the speech, I knew, yes, this is it. This is the thing I've been looking for. So before we dive into the strategy, the messaging, the sales, the systems, and everything else, I want to start here. And if a part of you is already wondering, how does this relate to Sales on Repeat? Don't try to figure that out right now. Just listen. He said 3 things in the first 5 minutes. And that was the aha moment for me, the big insight, the big breakthrough. He said, and of course I'm going to rephrase this and giving you my read and the way that it relates to this masterclass. I'm not going to, if you want, you can just find this and listen to it and his original speech. But I want to give you this correlation. And here is my rephrasing and my read. So he said, today we are going to talk about something that maybe will not be remembered, but that does not matter at all. He said, you will not need your notes or devices. And in that moment, I felt like I'm taking a breath, Meaning what he said, what he was saying was basically that it will just arrange itself inside your mind, your soul, your body, wherever it needs to. So everything you will hear in the next 5 days, let whatever needs to land here. Don't try to explain and justify everything. And this relates also to the way you are leading your business, the way you're leading your clients, the way you're structuring your offers. So everything that we're going to speak here, let it land in your mind. Let it land in your body. Let it land in your nervous system. Take a breath. Let it land in your soul. Because not everything that changes you needs to be mentally captured in order to work. Sometimes you don't need to remember something for it to move you. Sometimes your mind doesn't store it as an information, but your system recognizes it as truth, as maybe you're going to hear some things that you're not going to be deploying right now, but in 3 months you're going to say, wait a second, I know this. I have heard it before. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So this is like, so many things that we are learning in school, in the university, or any other course that you're signing up for. And the reality is that, of course, you cannot apply everything immediately, but you will know when you need it. And sometimes you hear and learn certain things that you can't instantly apply, but they remain in your operating system. And when you need it, this comes up and you're like, I know exactly what I will do for this to happen. And when that happens, something inside you begins to shift. There is a release, a reordering, a quiet internal yes, the aha that you can't always explain logically. And that matters a lot in sales, because some people don't speak in a way that simply teaches you something. They speak, and this is going to be very relevant for those of you who are in the spirituality, especially in the personal development, money mindset as well. And what is the key here is that some people don't speak in a way that teaches you something, but they speak in a way that lets you experience something. And that is very different. And this is when sales happen with ease. It's not just motivational impact, it's presence. That's what I said about honoring your current level and income, your current sales, your current clients, everything, so that you have this solid foundation, that solid presence, and that you know in your heart, and the people that you're talking to, they can experience you, whether it's going to be on a post that you're posting on social media or in a live session, or whether it's going to be in your paid containers. It's the kind of impact that doesn't just hit your mind, it reaches something deeper. And honestly, that kind of message often lands most powerfully for people who are highly intelligent, deeply self-aware, and used to overthink everything. Like probably you're this person, like me. And instead of giving you 17 more frameworks, 5 more strategies, 12 more bullet points, this gives you something that our modern mind almost never receives. What is this? Any suggestions? And this is very valid for your clients as well. What is currently missing and what people are raving for? And this is a very high level culture and high level retention strategy, let's call it. This is space, remembrance, and permission. And when someone speaks and creates a world from space, not from ego, not from performance, pressure, or needing to prove something, the body feels it immediately. And now think where in your current way of work with your clients, there is a lot of ego, a lot of performance, a lot of pressure, needing to prove. Are you stacking more and more modules, for example? Are you giving more and more by trying to prove and to show people, look, this is for you, this is for you, why don't you want it? And people simply need space. They need to be led, but in a way that honors them and that lets them grow from a place of stabilizing, where there is space for you and for them to think, to feel, to experience, and it's not a constant rush and push. And do you know why this lands and people feel it immediately? Because it breaks a very deep conditioning pattern. So many of us have been living inside of this for so long. And we're constantly, if something is valuable, I need to write it down, to analyze it, to systemize it, to apply it perfectly. But the truth is, some things are not meant to be applied. Some things are meant to be recognized. And I'm sure you're going to find this for your own work, for the way your own brand is presented on social media, for the way your current offers are structured, the way your current messaging and positioning works. And once these things are recognized, they begin to change the way you show up, you think, the way you choose, the way you respond, the way you sell, the way you speak, the people you speak to, how you lead yourself and your clients, even how you love. And this is deeply relevant to the work we are doing here today. The more important thing here is not, I need to study this, I need to learn something. The more interesting question is, what relaxed in you when you heard it? What relaxed in you when in the beginning I told you, you're going to experience this? When I told you, this is a space, a safe space, and I want you to stabilize your current level before we grow. And we're going to grow from honoring everything that you have achieved, not from pushing. Because, you know, it's not the person themselves that triggers us. And I'm sure that this masterclass is going to trigger many of you, especially day one. And maybe a lot of you are going to be, well, what is she talking about? I signed up for a masterclass where she's going to tell me how to make 1 million in 5 days. What triggers us is that someone gives us access to a state we had forgotten, to the mirror. And the question is, will you let me lead? Or will you be this person who is not ready for the transformation? My very direct treat is this. It's not that you were simply impressed by wisdom or strategy or a messaging template. You didn't come here for this, most probably. Why you signed up for this masterclass, what impressed you, and in my overall work, what you're seeing on my social media, is when I speak without pushing, without convincing, without over-explaining. And although I have a lot of lives, for example, where I do explain, it doesn't come from a place of over-explaining, but from a place of recognition and remembrance. And still, it has a huge impact. That is very relevant to your work too. And that is very relevant to how I actually have clients who buy at least 3 times from me, how I have clients who stay with me from 12 months to 36 months. And it's not because I'm constantly pushing them. It is because I do exactly the opposite of trying to prove, trying to start to sound smart, trying to overteach, trying to over deliver in order to earn respect or authority. Most of the time, I'm using presence as power. And honestly, do you know how transparent and how natural I am with most of my clients? Most of the time, I'm like a completely normal human. When you land in my world and when you start working with me, my power is from my presence, not from pushing. I believe this is the next level of premium influence and what is going to work for you to make sales on repeat and to have people obsessed with being in your world. Not because you push or because you're using some FOMO strategies. No, not not because you're showing up like, look how much I know, look how further ahead I am, look at me. But here is a truth your body already knows. Here is something for you that gives you space to be creative, to unlock your creative power, and to make money from this power, not from pushing. And this is what sells, what heals, what opens and stays. And one more thing, I want to open a bracket here and to speak about the permission not to hold everything with your mind. And this is huge. This is huge for your capacity. I'm going to give you so much transformation around your capacity here in this masterclass and over these 5 days, because the capacity and the creative power are a huge part of creating sales on repeat. This is huge part of what makes your clients remember you and stay with you. This is what makes people want to pay you on repeat. This is why they say, I want to work with this woman. I need to be in her world. I feel so good. Every time I get ideas for content, for another program, for how to restructure, for how to pivot, I'm finding the missing piece, or I'm releasing the pressure and I feel I'm accessing my creative power and I can show up so powerfully and actually speak only to the people who are meant for me. And the permission to not hold everything with your mind is very huge, because you, like all other intelligent, deep, and strong people, women, entrepreneurs, you have probably forgotten how to be yourself, how to show your true potential. You have probably gotten used to living as if everything important needs to be understood, articulated, remembered, integrated correctly. And while I'm all about structuring your business, I'm all about being very clear in your positioning and messaging. Here, the huge mistake is that people are trying to divide these things when they work together. It's not either or. These things need to collaborate, to cuddle. So when I heard this from Eckhart Tolle, when he said you will not need your notepads and pens and your devices, that landed for me like, you don't need to hold it all. It will find its place. And that almost felt like something holy for my nervous system. And a couple of days later, someone signed up for a four-figure offer. But I was just about to enter into this state of, should I send something? Is this the right thing for them? Should I rethink it? Instead of just giving space and permission to the situation to unfold. And when I heard this, and it felt holy for my nervous system, I realized that this was the permission to release control. Not in the sense of I don't care if they don't buy, but in sense of not everything has to be mentally managed in order to be real or to happen. How many times when you send the link for a masterclass or a program, or someone sent you a DM, can you share deeds? And you send them the link. And they're not signing up immediately, but it takes them 3 days or 5 days. How many times you start to mentally manage it? So you start overthinking, you start giving so much energy to this that you cannot do your other things, and this way you lose other sales. Or how many times you see your post reach 30 people and you start, oh, only 30 people, so people will not sign up. And you start putting this energy inside, and instead of showing up for your current clients, or instead of talking to them in a natural way from this creative power that you naturally have, you start pushing other things instead of releasing the control and trusting yourself, the universe, I don't know, other people as well. And trusting that if someone buys, this means it is for them and for you. But if someone doesn't buy, this is also great, because this person was probably not ready to commit fully, was not at the level that you're going to help them transform, was probably would not have been able to pay all installments. So are you actually grateful for the things that don't happen because something better is coming, or something is protecting you? Let yourself stop holding everything emotionally. And this is why actually many brilliant coaches and entrepreneurs are not able to scale and to have sales on repeat. Because you're wasting your energy, you're fracturing your power, you're fracturing let's say, the funnel system, the buyer journey, by pushing it and by trying to get people to buy when these people are just not meant to work with you. And you need to accept this. And you need to focus on the people who are currently in your world, let's say, and who are going to have a wonderful transformation, and you can give them more depth by selling them the next step in the face of the next offer. But you need to let the pressure leave. The second thing that Eckhart Tolle said, and once again I want to say that he said these 3 things in less than 5 minutes, but now I want to really to help you see why this is so important and how this relates to your business. So the second thing was, he said, Tony teaches, or he is more in the doing, but he is aware of being. And I'm more of being, but I'm also aware of doing. And this is what I just told you a couple of minutes ago. It's not, should I use my creative power or should I build a system? It's not, should I have a very good messaging and positioning or should I just speak whatever comes to me? It's not either or. We need to be aware of the being and be aware of the doing, to know that these things create a, they need to flow, you know. These are two frequencies that are at a very high level, and we need to get that vibration. And some days you might be more in the doing, some days you might be more of the being, some days you might be like 50-50, some days you might be 20-80, and that's fine. But this is the very power you need to understand about sales. It is so, so related. This is actually one of the most important axes, not only in the spiritual life, but also in business, money, love, visibility, leadership. And honestly, most entrepreneurs are brutally stuck in doing. Not because they are ambitious, but because they are dysregulated and conditioned to believe that if I don't do, I will lose. If I don't push, it won't happen. If I don't prove, they won't choose me. If I'm not productive, I have no value. Or some people are on the completely other edge, like, I will manifest everything. I should not do anything. It's just everything is frequency. They will choose me because of me. Sales will come even if I do nothing. And so what happens? There is no content on your page, or your messaging is completely aspirational and people simply do not understand what you do. And so again, sales struggle. This is where the big confusion comes in. Being is not sitting and manifesting in silk robes. And doing doesn't only mean masculine hustle. The real idea is much more precise. Being is the state you are coming from. As I said, this creative power, knowing your expertise, knowing the transformation you can deliver, knowing that your work is great and honoring that, knowing and honoring your current state in business, even if you're making, I don't know, 3 or 5K per month. No, honoring and being the money that you make, the clients that you make, and respecting that. And then the doing is the action that comes out of the state, and that leads your big mission, your big vision, what outcome you want to create. And if your being is luck, tension, proving, it has to happen, it must happen, I must have like 1 million views, or I must get sales right now today, I must push this person to buy today so I can say people hire me as soon as they find me, but this person signs up in 5 days, not in the same day that found you. And would you dishonor the person who found you today and signed up today, and respect less the person who needed 5 days to sign up? If you do this, your doing will also be contaminated. It will look like more content. I need to push more offers. This is where you stuck so much so, and you don't leave space for people to breathe and to feel you. More ideas, more courses, more effort, more masterclasses, and you're doing nothing in these masterclasses. Or you start, you do day 1 and 2, and then you don't finish it because there is no space, there is no room for your creative power to live. because you're not honoring your being. And this is why your doing feels contaminated. And what happens in reality is that the doing from this place of being will carry the energy of tightness, not power. And your clients feel it, know it. And that is why so many, especially women, of course also men, we have men in the group as well, but especially for women, you know, we are so conditioned to do everything right. And although you're doing everything right, from what the online space said, from what Coach X said, then Coach Y said completely the opposite, and you are doing everything right, but your business still doesn't move the way you want it to. The problem is not only what you're doing, the problem is from where you are doing it. And what I felt in that video was not just an interesting concept. Yes, it was interesting concept to me, but then I started thinking on it and I said, I need to tell this to people in Sales on Repeat. I felt the deeper truth. I don't want to build my life and business only from doing more. I have built so much from doing more, and do you know what happened? Collapse, burnouts. And you know, I have worked with hundreds of people so far. Many entrepreneurs never reach that awareness. I can say very openly, as I have worked with so many people, and I saw very unaware entrepreneurs who are just doing some things on autopilot. And even if they make 300K per year or millions per year or per month, behind the scenes is horrible. It's toxic. And people buy once and they do not want to buy again because the experience was horrible. The team is burned to the ground. Everyone hates each other. It's like Hunger Games. There is no real client care. And that's why people don't want to stay. That's why they buy once and they vanish, they disappear. The buyer journey is not a priority at all. They just want to make and to take the money. And guess what happens? They might make millions, but the profit is... And it happens that that make less money, I have way more profit than someone who makes multi-seven figures. People from the team come and go. So it's constant reinvention. There is nothing is stable. There is no support. The founder complains people are bad when in fact they can't lead these hardworking people, and that's why these hardworking people leave and the brand suffers and the business suffers. The fact is that there is no good brand and customer service. Customers are annoyed, angry, and they don't experience a good transformation or they don't receive a good product. They buy one thing and never come back. And of course, why I'm telling you this? Because I don't want you to be this person. And one more thing, we are humans. You might make a mistake sometimes, but I want you to think of your customer journey, your customer experience. Put yourself in the shoes of your customer. Would you buy from your business? Would you stay in your business if you are your customer? And that's why I'm spending almost an hour already speaking about that awareness. If you want to make your business remembered for a good reason, referred, desired, and chosen on repeat, customer journey and customer experience. is what must be a priority, and your creative power, giving them space. Don't be this person I just gave an example for. You will be punished, which means you will be losing money in the reset. There will be no good profit. You will be constantly exhausted. And the trying to reach the next level without stabilizing the current level is not going to happen. I know it from my experience. As soon as you forget about your mission, about people, about your clients, the being and the doing from the outcome and care about your clients, you will pay a huge price. And I saw entrepreneurs also who were just optimized constantly. Again, no stability. Constantly reinvent the message, constantly rearrange the offers, the spaces, constantly heal the block, that negative positivity, and when healing becomes the toxic one. They constantly buy more strategy. They constantly try to buy more embodiment, hire more people and be unhappy with everything, get more clients, yet the money and the profit leaks. And still, the architecture, the inner architecture, the inner state of being remains negative. And sometimes more refined doing, but still without real being and honoring the brand culture and people's needs, is not a good thing. Sometimes you really need to realize and honor where you're being so you can start doing from a positive state of being. And now another very important thing. Being without doing is stagnation. Doing without being is exhaustion. It's toxic. But being plus doing, when these both concepts live together, this is where your creative power lives. And this is when people will want to stay and work with you. That's the whole game. And in my opinion, this is also one of the biggest themes. And you're probably actually moving through this right now, because you're not a coach or entrepreneur or a human who simply needs more action. You can already act and you are already moving. Your next level in business and brand and the world that people love to be in, that is remembered and desired, and people love buying from, is more like, how do I act from identity, presence, truth, and internal safety? First of all, you as a founder of your business, as the main face of your business, instead from this survival intelligence. And this is already a different level. The truth is that being and doing are not enemies. They are not separate. This is super, super powerful. The moment you get it, you will completely transform how you are currently leading your business and your current spaces. And I can guarantee that your clients are going to feel this the moment you show up from this new state of being and doing. The world really loves to create this split. Either you're spiritual or you're ambitious. Either you're surrender in surrender or you're in action. Either you're feminine or you're powerful masculine. But the truth is much more mature, you know. A whole person, you can hold both. And what Eckhart Tolle said about Tony Robbins is really very beautiful and mature. Tony is strong in doing, but he has awareness of being. Eckhart is strong in being, but he has awareness of doing. And I want you to get this for yourself. This is wisdom, not branding right now. Real maturity is not I'm this type and I'm not the other. But I recognize both forces, both powers, and I know which one is leading today. It is like, I like a strong espresso, but I also like coconut cappuccino, for example. I like herbal tea, but I also like some signature fruit blends. Some days I'm in my power, other days I'm like, I want to wander without a plan. But I'm both things. And you are as well. Sometimes you might be, you know, you might want to lead a program that is more of the mindset and energetic. Sometimes you want to get really into a structured offer. One doesn't exclude the other. And once you understand this, and once you start leading your clients, your current clients and people in your world from that state of being and doing, they will instantly feel it. And they will say, I can find everything I need in her world. And the third thing that he said in these 5 minutes, that is already taking me 1 hour to explain to you, the third thing is something from the Bible. And I'm not going to go into the details of the Bible and what God said, and this is not about religion at all. But Eckhart explains what he explains, because that's not the point, but I will give you my take very briefly and how that relates to your business, brand, and sales. So he gives an example about Moses and God. And this is a moment from book of Exodus, when Moses asks God what he should say if people ask who sent him, who sent you. And God says to Moses, I am who I am. And he says this to people of Israel, I am, has sent me to you. And once again, this is not about the Bible, this is not about the translation, this is not about in which God you believe, whether it's God, nature, the universe, or another God that you have. This is not about the translations or what is correct. But what matters to us today in this context of this masterclass is this. This is not just a biblical or mystical phrase. Psychologically and energetically, this is almost an antidote for the person who has learned to earn through effort. Because I am does not say I perform, I prove, I earn existence, I become valid when I achieve. It says I am. And this stands for the state of being. State of being. I am before the result, before the approval, before the sale, before the external proof. This is, you just know it, you honor your state, your current achievement, your current sales, every client that you got, every lesson that you learned through your journey. You believe it and you honor it. That's it. So if God created you and you have access to higher knowing and being, this is your creative power. This is incredibly powerful for you specifically as business owners and people who are doing your business mainly online, because you have most likely lived a big part of your life in I am if. I am valuable if people buy. I'm powerful if I'm visible and viral. I'm safe if money is stable. I'm enough if I'm constantly producing. I'm desirable if I'm chosen. I'm remembered only if people buy again. The transformation that I can deliver will only be valid if people send me a positive feedback. Do you know how many people I worked with in a 1 month intensive are now making 100K, 150K, and they never said or sent me a message to tell me, yeah, thank you so much. Do you know how many people I worked with who made millions from my leadership, from the strategies I gave them, when I was the one who sat with them for 2 hours and fixed the positioning, and they never said thank you? If I fall for this and I forgot who I am, I will not be able to show up and lead a masterclass for 10 other people. I will not be able to show up in my Facebook group where there are 1,000 people, although this is small group. Imagine having 1,000 people listening to you every day. I would not be able to have 7% conversion rate, which is out of this world for business coaches, organically. And I won't lie to you, there were moments when I was like, they could at least say thank you. But that's not my mission. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here so people are grateful to me. I'm here because I have knowledge, gift, wisdom I can give to these people. And this is why everything that I'm saying till now and what Eckhart Tolle speaks exactly into cracked me open. He does not try to make you become someone. His speech in these 3 or 5 minutes, he brought something to me. And it was, who are you without all the noise? And that hits very strongly when you are someone with a huge capacity, with big intelligence and big inner exhaustion. If we translate this into our business language as business models, that would mean that the old model is be busy, maybe feel worthy. The new model would be rooted, then move. And this is not softer, I would say. This is more powerful. Because the woman or the entrepreneur, the coach who is rooted, doesn't over-explain, doesn't over-post, doesn't over-give. And one more time, I want to make here, to make it very clear, explaining so people understand your concept, the culture of your business and brand, doesn't mean that you are over-explaining or over-giving. But this comes from the inner state of being. Should I explain it because people need to understand what I mean, or am I over-proving? Am I looking for validation? This is about when doing is clean, and this is felt immediately in your content, in your sales, in your presence, in your boundaries, in the way you are holding and leading your clients, in the way your capacity and spaces feel spacious, spaces where they can remember and grow from honoring all their achievements. So that's why I told you in the beginning, some days from this 5-day masterclass, might feel like, I didn't learn something very new today, but I experienced something. Something happened inside of me, something clicked. And once again, not every truth needs to be remembered mentally in order to work. So I want you to think where right now, in your current work, in your current containers, when you're working with your current clients, where you are trying to stack so much things instead of giving space for the things to click and for them to feel, I love it here. It feels nice. I experience a great transformation. I'm not always learning something, but I experience. There is space for me to experience what I need to experience, not what the whole group needs to experience. And in this space of remembrance, of inner relaxation, a rearrangement, an aha moment, an insight, a huge breakthrough happens without you even being able to explain it logically. And this is when people would love being in your world. This is not about motivational impact. I'm not saying that right now you have to go and start doing some motivational speeches for your clients. But this is more like a presence-based impact. And once you shift the way you feel about sales on repeat from a state of people need to hear this, they will experience a huge transformation from this instead of stacking more and more and pushing and giving them more and more. This is what will make people want to stay and to listen to you. And I want you to start building this kind of brand and business from the impact, from the big idea, the ability to hold the full spectrum of emotions, of the ups and downs, of knowing that each and every level needs to stabilize. I don't care how much money you currently make. I totally don't care. I saw clients who make 0 and go and make 20K in 3 days. And I saw clients who don't want to honor their state and they start falling, who didn't want to improve the environment in their world, who were in constant doing but without the integrity and honoring what's happening and what's not happening, who didn't want to see the mirror. And as I told you, they might make millions, but the profit is barely enough to cover the expenses of the business. So I want you to learn to hold and to honor every single achievement. I want you to normalize that some people would love it in your world and some people would not, and that is okay. Do you have any questions so far? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what lands here for you. Are some breakthroughs coming? How is this shifting your perspective on what's currently happening? Why it's happening? Why some things are happening in a great way? Hi, Helen, please write in the comments. Yeah, so let me know what lands for you. Do you find, oh yeah, I see why this is working so good, and I should double down instead of trying to fix it? Or are there things that you realize, well, I could improve the culture and the integrity in my current containers, or I could leave some more space? And for me, last year, this was a huge breakthrough because I realized that I want to add in my higher level containers, like masterminds, like one-on-one. I realized I want to add more leadership sessions instead of trying to teach something new every week. I realized that I need to simplify and to work on 5 main axes, but to deepen them, to go on on another level, not more, to double down on the things that are actually working. What lands for you? Let me know in the comments. Is this changing something? I will read all your comments. So please let me know. Your feedback is incredibly valuable. How do you like the concept of giving more space to everything in your containers, in sales, in even if you are applying a lot of time-sensitive strategies, let's say. I'm not saying you should not. But do you feel some things could shift? And today I want to also talk about something deeper. And this is why so many powerful coaches, and especially women, still don't create sales on repeat. And this problem goes much deeper than strategy. And if we, once again, do not honor and we are not honest, what's working, what's not working, if we are not looking at the mirror, how do you expect to grow? And I want you to be very honest with yourself, because that is part of honoring and stabilizing before the next level. Not to beat yourself. I'm not saying this. Once again, we all make mistakes. We all learn lessons. Things happen to us, for us to grow. But it is important to see the gaps and where the money is leaking and why. Like, for example, something happened to me last year, and my inner perception instantly was, what a huge failure. I'm a failure. Am I really a failure when I'm the first one in my bloodline that starts a business? When I'm actually the first one who has the power to trust myself and not listen to my parents who have this mindset of being a worker for someone? Am I really a failure when in the first 4 months starting my business, I earned twice my yearly salary? Am I really a failure? Or is this a lesson that every entrepreneur is learning? What are the contradictions in you? Is it really in you, a contradiction that you have? Or it's because you don't listen to yourself, but you listen to 10 different online coaches? Is it because you don't honor your own way and try to do what works for others, when your methodology and culture is 100 times better than what the online space and other coaches in your niche do? Okay, I'm reading the comments. So what are the things that you used to think But now you realize, okay, this served me to a certain level, but obviously I have to honor it, to say thank you that you served me till now, but now things are changing. Where in the business, not you, but in the business, sales are leaking? Why is that? Where you're personalizing the business. This is so huge. I'm going to talk about this. I don't want to get into details about this, but you and the business are two separate things. The business is a separate entity. The business has its assets and messaging, buyer journey, client experience. These are assets of the business. They are not you. Okay? Although you might be the founder, and although you're the face of the company, you need to set up a structure in your business so your business can work regardless if you show up or not. Where you know you're brilliant, but you're unstable under pressure. And that pressure could look very different. That pressure could look like, let's take the example when I tell you a client asks for the link, but they do not sign up immediately. They sign up in 5 days. And what are you doing in these 5 days? Are you freaking out? Or you're able to hold it, to have the capacity to serve your other clients, to have the capacity to show up live or to post more content so more people can reach it? When someone doesn't sign up, are you freaking out? Or you're saying, okay, probably right now is not the right moment. And that's fine. And you're going to focus on the other things that work, that are working. The thing is that powerful people often overthink and doubt themselves, often are worried if people get or don't get results. So you're soften your positioning. And this has always been a huge thing for me. That's why I'm telling you, everything that you're doing, I have been through it. I have seen whether in my own business or in clients. So many things you probably know a lot of strategies, but you think of too many things at a time and you simply cannot focus. So you're diluting your focus. There needs to be more of a structure, bringing people in. Okay, Helen, we are going to work on that. I've started listening more to my intuition rather than other coaches. Yes, this is a huge thing. This is very huge when you want sales on repeat, because your clients hire you because of you and what you can give them. And this also applies to business strategies. Although there are many business strategies, the thing is that you know which strategy to use in different situations, you know. For example, I can launch one masterclass in one way, and that sales strategy that I'm applying could be very like winning strategy. But the other masterclass I could launch in a completely different way because I want to attract very different people in that space. Let's say I might want to sell a mastermind where I want to have 15 very high level people. And this is when I'm going to speak in a very different way than when I want to sell a free masterclass and to get a lot of people. And my messaging, my positioning would depend on who are the people that need this offer. And that's why today is so important. And I know it's getting a long masterclass, but I don't want to just throw some sales strategies at you and you not being able to deploy it, or just blindly doing something that will make people don't like it, because I have been there. I have followed an 8-figure coach strategy when my own strategy was way better. And guess what happened? I started losing money. And this is when I said, yeah, okay, Marina, this is a lesson for you. People like you because of what you know, what you teach, how you do it, how your world feels, not because you're applying someone else's strategy. But I have what's the word? I can look at the mirror and say, okay, I made a mistake. Let me pivot, course correction. I'm a human. And this is when you have to stop looking at every shiny object. And hi, we're all humans. I have done this mistake as well. And I'm not saying you should not take risks or that you should not try new things. I'm trying new things every other day. And I see, okay, this person reacts to this post, but this person reacts to more of urgency kind of post. Okay, so both things have place in my strategy. But when you take the risks or when you're doing this testing and trying when you're trying the messaging, for example, or when you're launching a new offer, let's say, you need to be able to hold the pressure that comes with the risk of the unknown of the trying. This is like, like dating. When you go on a date with someone new, you never know if you're going to like them. And you need a couple of dates to decide so. So by the second or the third date, I like these things, but I don't like these things. But there is a risk, of course. You might have a horrible date, but that's part of the dating game, right? So it's the same in business. Sometimes you can try to give more space in your current containers and to see if people are going to like it, to have better results, to get their feedback. You might ask them, do you like it? How does it feel? Do you like it to have more space? Do you like it to have more time to apply this? How is the pace? And to be able to hear that some people would love it. Maybe 5 people are going to love it. Maybe 10 people are going to love it. Maybe 2 people are going to say this is a total bullshit. And you need to be able to hold this, that not everyone can handle level 10 when they are at level 2. And here comes that gap where you can say, okay, then I'm going to add different steps. So people who are level 2 can come to level 7. But I want to honor people at level 7 who are ready for level 10. Or another example, you want to invest, but you don't want this to be a bad investment. How many of you have had a bad investment? Regardless if it's business coaching or health coaching or any kind of coaching, or you bought something that was not what you expected or didn't work out as you wanted. And of course, no one wants to start losing money on the way or to have bad investment or to buy something that breaks on the 3rd day. Or let's say you see your business like you're losing money in missed opportunities, in clients who are not re-signing, clients who are not buying on repeat. And you know that if you have a coach who can navigate you, who can brainstorm with you, who can give you feedback on your positioning, but you're not doing it, and you see, oh my gosh, I could have made 30K months, 50K months by now, or I have been making 30, 50K months, but something is off and I'm not sure what is it. I need to find a business coach that is going to help me with this so I can stop losing money. But then you're getting in your head, you're not investing, and you know that the lack of support, the lack of brainstorming, the lack of someone who can course correct with you or someone who can support you in different situations and support the consistency of your messaging, of your positioning. And you're losing some money because of this, and your consistency drops because the messaging is not landing. So you start posting more, you get annoyed, you get, frustrated. Then what happens in your containers is that you cannot be delivering from your creative power, and you're not at your peak power at all times. And this is why business mentorship is so important. And these are all examples where you are brilliant, you're expert, but you're not creating the money you should be creating. And these are just a couple of examples. I'm sure you're going to share with me more situations that are coming to you right now and that you're experiencing. And please do tell me in the comments. And this is when being good isn't enough. This is where and why you're oftentimes not being able to create sales on repeat or to have people who buy your long-term spaces, because delays, silence from someone, or this friction destabilizes women, coaches, entrepreneurs who are actually very powerful. This is why many women still carry their business emotionally instead of structurally. This is why sales don't repeat, because when your nervous system still collapses under uncertainty, pressure, or when you need to, to scale, to expand, but you cannot fully honor everything that's happening, or there are some things that are bothering you and you cannot process them, or if you're trying to do it by yourself, you're over processing and you're dragging some client who was ungrateful or who told you something bad, and you focus on this instead of stabilizing your level and upgrading, and this is costing you so much sales. And this masterclass is about how to stop being consumed and forgotten, and how to become the one who is remembered, who people love to return to refer. This is for the coaches, the experts who are done sounding good and ready to become unforgettable. For the women and the men building premium brands who want to stop blending in and start becoming the very obvious choice. How to create the kind of messaging, the positioning, and the presence that stays with people long after they have watched the masterclass or have seen a live or a post of you. It is for those of you whose work is so powerful, but whose brand still isn't landing with the level of precision, authority, and memorability it deserves. And this is what we will be doing over the next 5 days. And this is why I want to have these conversations that otherwise we cannot have in a live on Facebook. This will be a high-level recalibration for the people whose work is too good to still be forgettable, diluted, or easy to overlook. And over the next couple of days, I will dive very deep into that capacity holding and scaling. I want you to understand the emotional and identity gaps that stop repeat sales. I want to show you how to own your premium brand identity and distinction that makes people obsessed with buying from you. And today was a great start of this day. Please rewatch this. Rewatch this. And if you think, yeah, but it's easy to speak of this, you have your clients who are making 300K or millions. Yeah, but do you know what? I learned and I honored all my failures, as I told you. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of all these failures, contradictions, and mistakes that I asked you to be honest with yourself. And I will lead here. I will show you. And I will tell you that there were so many cases when I wanted to give level 10 strategy, emotional intelligence, etc., and leadership to people who were at level 2. And in this, this was coming from my whole heart that I want to serve and help them. But I entered people's businesses where chaos is all over the place. And so in order to be someone who helps them and who fixes their chaos for people who are not ready to see the mirror and to honor their stage, both the good and the bad, I left all my things on the background. I had no time. I was supporting them so hard that I was drained and I didn't have time for my own business. I trusted people who lied to me in business and in my personal life. I have been through so many toxic relationships. And do you know how I get out of them? By saying, I am in a toxic relationship. And I realize it with my mind, but because of my traumas, I cannot get out of it right now. And yes, I had to admit this. Do you know, I have friends who are 15 or 20 years older than me, and they cannot do this. And they are asking me, how did you get out of this? And I said, by honoring myself with all my failures, mistakes, traumas, toxicity, by being honest and transparent, and by saying, I want to get out of this, but I see I'm here right now. And I know this is not the sexy part that you expect for sales on repeat, but it is the same in business. And when I was having clients who disrespected me, although I helped them make multi 6 and 7 figures, and I was like, what the fucking hell? I did so much for you, and now you cannot say even thank you. And yeah, there were moments when I suffered, but I said, okay, obviously there will be this kind of people. I will not focus on them. I have 10 more people who are writing positive comments, who are saying thank you, who are giving me testimonials and feedback, who are saying I'm signing clients every single day. Thank you so much. And the contradictions that I have personally experienced, like someone wants me to help them build a 7-figure business, but they're not taking responsibility. They're not showing up to the cause. They're not doing the work. And then they blame me. They're angry and even aggressive, some of them, when I tell them the truth. Or the other mistakes I have made when I knew my work is so good, so powerful, but I fell for the noise and I started following other strategies that were wrong for my level at that stage a couple of years ago. Or when I support my clients so hard that I have no time for my own business, and now they make millions, but I charge like a teeny tiny fraction of this. And like I used to charge 7K for one-on-one, and they make a $2 million month, and I'm like, what the fucking hell? And I cannot make 20K months. But yes, I'm honoring this. I am honoring this. And I'm realizing, okay, I need to become stronger in my positioning. I need to start claiming my results. I need to show up more in my power, in my creative power, and then I will be able to shift the positioning and respectfully charge more. But if I'm not saying and not showing up how much power I have, people who simply will not know. Or when another client went from 3-month drop-offs and toxic clients who were never happy, and we shifted this with the positioning, the pricing strategy, with the sales strategy, and they went to 12-month contracts, and people started resigning 3 times in a row. And this has everything to do with my leadership, my strategies, and the positioning. And then I get like a teeny tiny fraction of payment for this. Of course, my sales will be on the low end because I do not honor the power of my work, because I'm afraid to claim the result in the transformation in my own positioning. And so the clients neglect it and pay me on the low end because I do undercharge and I am underpositioned. Because I try to give level 10 transformation to people who are at level 2. Or when I used to think that I'm brilliant and I'm an expert, and then I will automatically be paid for this. Turns out this is not the thing, babe. And I needed so much time to understand it. And I was beating myself so harshly every time when I did it again. When I was leaking so much money in buying things I don't need, for example, or missing opportunities because I was drained and I didn't have time to write my own content and build my own programs. Or when I was overholding people who were simply irresponsible. And this is when your nervous system starts sabotaging the repeat sales. Remember what I said earlier about the unaware entrepreneurs. Your job as a business owner is to be very highly aware of the difficulties and to be able to navigate this, to be able to honor all your achievements and to say, okay, we have a gap here, let's fix it, or to say, things are going great right now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this 15K month. Thank you so much. How can I get another one of these? Instead of constantly worrying, how should I make more? What more should I do? And this is the hard part. This is the hard part. Strategies you will learn, mentors you will hire. The important question is, are you able to be aware and hold the full spectrum of emotions of a business that is built for repeatable sales, of building a world where the client, the buyer journey and the client experience is incredible. Be honest. How many times it happens to you to face a horrible client experience and say, thank you for being able to see this so I can avoid this in my own business. Thanks that I didn't make that mistake and I saw with someone else doing it and I now can do differently in my business instead of having the problem and the situation. And one more thing you need to know. There will be great seasons when you make a lot of money, when clients are happy, things are flowing and everything feels so amazing. And there will be certain situations in that seasons as well, but the overall feeling of things are great is going to be stronger. But there will be seasons where most of the things are not happening as you wish. And the good things will be less. But the negativity is probably going to be more. Or sales will be slower than usual. Or it will seem slower than you think it should be. Yet something is cooking, like the pressure cooker. It warms and warms and warms, creates the pressure, and after 40 minutes, the meat is perfect. It's tender, it's soft. But in the first 15 minutes, it looks as if nothing is happening. However, you know it accumulates. And if you watched and read a post of mine from a couple of days ago, when my reach on the Facebook dashboard dropped to 0, I didn't freak out, but I saw many people who freak out in similar situations. Or when a client says that is too expensive, are you wobbling or are you saying, I see this doesn't fit your budget? Here I have a lower like a $47 masterclass. You can start here. And when you're ready to come in my high level space, or you are going to start explaining, but you get this, but you get that, blah, 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 blah. Are you able to explain calmly, not from the being of proving and over explaining, but really just talking to a person and explaining without justifying, just by confidently knowing what your offer and the transformation is? Are you able to explain it, or you're getting defensive? And here is something very important. In my opinion, and this will throw most coaches in coma, but I believe in the good communication. I do communicate with potential clients very respectfully, even if they say that's too expensive, or right now they can't do, or that they're too busy and they know they will not commit properly. And I can communicate this without trying to prove or justify something. But as I said, this is awareness. Yes, you need communication. You need to be able to handle the rejection. And the first thing you need to accept is that a no, the rejection in sales, in business, should not be taken personally. This is a signal. Is my positioning correct? Is the offer communicated correctly? Who is it for? Who is it not for? Or to say, okay, my positioning is right. This is just not the right person. And it's better that they don't join so they don't ruin anything. When your reach seems low, do you freak out, or do you see the facts, like people are commenting, DMing, buying, moving? And vice versa, if people are not commenting or buying and the reach is low, are you able to read this as data, or you just freak out and lose all your power and you're not even able to serve your current clients from creative power? Are you able to say, okay, this probably didn't land for my audience, let's pivot? Or when a client gives you a feedback, are you able to provide good customer service to think, is this person right? Or is this person not doing the work and expecting me to hold it all for them? Are you able to say, okay, I hear you, here is what we can do? Or to enforce a boundary, if that is the case, and say, look, you got everything, you got all the links, you didn't join, it's not my fault. Are you able to say you didn't apply XYZ, whatever happened, to use facts? And that is why you can't experience the full transformation. Are you putting content that actually speaks to your buyers in their language, their current frustration, needs, desires? Or are you just commenting under thread posts in groups and saying it doesn't work? Are you actually signing up for mentorship when you see you need to learn how to position your offers, how to set up your business? Or you just watch tons of free content that completely messes your brain up, and you end up confused and doing nothing that actually moves the needle? You will stop sabotaging your sales when you become fully aware of the state of being, doing, and not letting external circumstances lead your strategy. And when you show up for your clients in a way that is honoring their journey and transformation. And here is one more thing I want to say before I end up this, because I realize it's 2 hours already, but thank you for being here with me. Learn the difference between being the brand and emotionally carrying the business. This is huge, huge, huge. And it has been a game changer for me. I made a huge mistake here, and I definitely see many, many other people doing it. This is so huge, especially for personal brands. And when the founder, you as the founder and the business owner are the one who writes content, who shows up on social media, who leads the programs and everything else. Because you are associated with the business. And if you can't adequately understand that you are you as a human and the business is a separate entity with assets and systems and operation and its own rules, you are lost. That's where many people fall short. That's where your capacity is maxed out. That's where people are not buying on repeat. That's where people are not upgrading. Because, for example, when I personally started my business, I felt there. I was leading exactly that way. I was thinking I am responsible for everything, for every client, for every blah, 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 blah. And I forgot, because I knew this before, but I forgot that the business has its own structure, own rules, own payment terms, terms and conditions, refund, non-refund policy, client's responsibilities, responsibility of the team, the contracts. And this is how a business is going to work even without you. I knew perfectly what are the prices I need to charge in my case to be profitable, to pay the team, to still have 70-80% of the income as profit. And I fell in undercharging, for example, or giving too much to people who were not paying for it. And yes, I wanted to be good and to serve, but then I was not serving myself. And this is not how you lead a business. And I was doing this for my clients, but I was not able to do this for myself. Why? Because I didn't have space for my creative power. And I fell for this personal brand thing in the online space that makes everything a you problem. And I started losing my profit. I was working just enough to pay my expenses. And I let some very unaligned clients in. And that costed me. That's why I'm telling you everything here today. And I want you to say now, profit is the most important thing. I am a business owner. And check the numbers, check how are you doing it. The business is a separate entity, not you as a human. Even if you are a personal brand, even if you buy things for yourself in photo shoots or whatever, think carefully. Is this for me or for my business? Is it worth it? And the last thing is to break the cycle of personalizing every no or delay. This is something you need to learn for sales, especially if you want to have sales on repeat. Understand that not everyone will be ready for or emotionally mature to hold some things. And you need to focus on the people who are ready, who have the potential and want to do it. And speak to the people who have no resistance, who will read a piece of content and will be like, wow, that's exactly what I've been looking for. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for spending these 2 hours with me. Share this video or just make a picture or 3-5 second video. Share it to your stories. Tag me so you can win 500 euros. Answer the questions of where you are still not aware and what you commit to. And I want you to say loud and clear. I am grateful for every sale, for my current stage, and I'm honoring all my achievement. And then tell me in the group what needs to improve for the being and doing. Are you on one edge or the other? And how will you balance it? Tell me, where are you sabotaging your sales? On repeat, are you overgiving? How is the customer experience, the buyer journey, the service? Are you like giving too much and not leaving space, or is it like there is no boundaries at all? Are you freaking out when sales are slow, or there is a no or some delay? And are you actually thinking of profit? Share your realizations in the group. I will be happy to read everything, and then I will contemplate and address them by the end of this experience. Tomorrow we will speak more about how to build a brand that stays and people love buying from. I know it was a very deep day, very transformational. Let me know your thoughts, insights, ideas. Tomorrow, the same time, make sure you put the calendar, the link to the call in your calendar. Everything is in the event section in the Facebook group, and you also have an email. Make sure that you mark my emails, the emails from me, to go to your primary, so you get all emails and reminders. And this is it from today. For today, I really love that and would love to hear what you think, how this landed for you, and some contemplations on this. Thank you so much for being here, Helen. Thank you for your feedback as well and your answers. And see you tomorrow, the same time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.